All right, guys, with this one, we're going to get right into the Bucks traveling to Tampa Bay to beat the Lions 20-6. I'm going to start off with the Bucks on this one because we knew they weren't going to be able to run the ball. The Lions have been very good against the run, but what they've been vulnerable against is the pass. And we didn't really see it. I mean, Baker threw the ball 37 times, only completed 19 passes, no touchdowns given the 6 points, and 1 interception, ran the ball twice for 6 yards. My friend Derek could tell you it was a very disappointing week for anybody who started Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
And it sucks because this was a week. It was like, okay, obviously, like I said, they're obviously not going to be able to run. They're going to have to pass. Well, they did pass unsuccessfully. It just didn't work out. Mike Evans had 10 targets, only caught 4 of them, 49 yards.
Mm-hmm.
He gave you 8.9 PPR points. I mean, given the first few, we kind of all had an idea. That's why a lot of people were saying, go out and trade Mike Evans. This is not going to continue. It's not going to just be super big blow up weeks. We've seen Mike. It happened.
Yeah.
And it sucks, but I'm not saying a lot of weeks are going to be like this, but the variance it's not going to be just a whole bunch of high scoring games. You have to remember, while Baker Mayfield has performed well this year at times, we've seen Baker Mayfield at his lows.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to take that in stride. Rachaad White obviously did not have a good game, given the fact that we knew he wasn't going to be able to do much on the ground. Only 7 attempts for 26 yards, but he caught 3 passes on 4 targets for 12 yards. He got 6.8 PPR points. Very disappointing, but we kind of knew that it wasn't going to be a good week for Rachaad.
Yeah.
The one positive thing is that each and every week you see, I mean, he's over 70% of snaps every single week. This week he's at 79.
Yeah.
So Keyshawn Vaughn, Sean Tucker to eat, and Chase Edmonds has been hurt, I believe, but I don't think he's going to eat into Rachaad White's volume at all. So he at this point, he's like a volume-based RB2 flex kind of guy. It's hard to really count on him because he's not been efficient at all his entire career. But if he could maintain the pass catching and keep that number one back role, like he got 44 snaps and Keyshawn Vaughn got 12. If we could see that every week, then I'm still comfortable with him.
Yeah.
Chris Godwin had the best performance out of all of the Buccaneers, caught 6 of 7 passes for 77 yards, giving you 13.7 PPR points. It's passable. I mean, you started Chris Godwin this week. He did not lose you, but he probably didn't win it for you either. The thing that was kind of interesting to see was the rookie Trey Palmer. Caught 2 of 7 passes for 47 yards. Just seeing that he's getting the same amount of targets as Chris Godwin. He only played 66% of the snaps, but they only had, 56 offensive snaps in this game. So he was out there for 37 of them. And I mean, given that the Bucks just are not the best offense, I'm not very interested in him.
Yeah.
But he's out there, and I don't know. We know that rookies tend to perform later on in the season, so I guess he's somebody to keep an eye on. Right now, I'm not considering rostering him or anything. But yeah, that's really all I have for that side of the ball. It was very ugly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even really have much more to add. You summed it up perfectly. Yeah. Baker, this is games like this you are going to see more of from Baker Mayfield in games against defenses that he should perform better against. He plays the Falcons next week, who are a better pass defense. Not saying you're going to have the same outcome, but be ready in case it does.
Don't let your expectations run too wild with these offensive options.
Yeah.
On the other side of the ball, however, it was kind of sad to see because David Montgomery, after only 18 snaps, exited the game. He apparently has a rib cartilage injury. Will possibly, I've seen he might be sidelined for a few weeks. I've seen he might be sidelined until after their week 9 bye, which obviously this going into week 7, if you do have David Montgomery, that would be fairly painful, especially given the performances that he's had up until this point.
Yeah.
Before he went out, he only rushed 6 times for 14 yards, caught 1 pass for 19, 4.3 PPR. I mean, he might have lost you the week. It wasn't his fault. He got hurt.
Yeah.
But you saw Craig Reynolds step in when he went out and do almost nothing. He had 10 attempts for 15 yards and 2 catches for 28, which that's a positive. The thing that is kind of up in the air to me is the last time we saw David Montgomery out, we saw Jahmyr Gibbs step in that one game and get 18 carries. I genuinely don't know what is going to happen because Jahmyr has been dealing with that hamstring. They clearly, I mean, Dan Campbell came out and said that, David Montgomery's their workhorse, Jahmyr's their change of pace back. I just don't know if they're going to give all of that work to Jahmyr or if it's going to be Craig Reynolds with Jahmyr here and there. We're going to have to wait and see. I think if you can go out and get Craig Reynolds, if you had Montgomery, that's not a bad option. But I'm not jumping to start him just because of what we saw in the week that Montgomery already missed.
Yeah.
But Jared Goff, on the other hand, had a very good week. He was 30 for 44, 353 yards, 2 touchdowns, rushed the ball 2 times for 3 yards, gave you 22.4. I mean, from what we saw out of a lot of quarterbacks this week, that
Very
was
solid.
that was a week-winning performance from Jared Goff. The Bucs are no slouches on the pass defense. They have been good.
Mm-hmm.
They have, I mean, the Lions were just better. The Lions, to me, they are at this point, you cannot look at them and say they're not one of the best teams in the NFL. I'd probably say top 5 at this point, given, they have 1 loss in overtime to the Seahawks.
Yeah.
It happens. But yeah, Jared Goff, I really like going forward. They play the Ravens next week, which is not necessarily, they have a very stout defense, but we've seen in the second half, the Ravens aren't able to move the ball a lot. They have a lot of 3 and outs, therefore putting the defense on the field a lot of the time in the second half. So I do think that you can start, even Josh Reynolds next week and be comfortable, not excited, but comfortable. Obviously, Amon-Ra St. Brown, no matter what, no matter where, he's going to eat. Mm-hmm. He's going to kill it. He is the guy. Amon-Ra St. Brown is what we want to see from all of the wide receiver ones that we have drafted. 12 catches on 15 targets for 124 and a touchdown, giving you 30.4 in a PPR setting. He's the most consistent. It's you can't not love having Amon-Ra St. Brown. Mm-hmm. When he's out there, he's just going to kill it. And he continues to prove so every week. Josh Reynolds finished with a good week. He played 81% of the snaps, even with Jameson Williams. This is not his first week anymore, so he's getting out there. Only 23% of snaps for him, but Josh Reynolds, I think, I can comfortably say he's the wide receiver 2 in Detroit. It's kind of funny. They mentioned the stat during that game that all 17 of Josh Reynolds' career touchdowns have all come from Jared Goff, both because they played on the Rams together as well as the Lions now. So, that connection is very clearly been established over years. And I think it was a question of whether he would maintain relevance. Jameson came back, and yes, he will. Although Williams did have a good game. Only 3 targets, caught 2 of them for 53 and a touchdown. So he gave you 13.3 points. But I think he'll get the one thing is I like this offense a lot. So you have a guy like Jameson, maybe not starting him right now, but as the weeks go on and he starts, his snaps go up, this is a very good offense. And They've made it clear, especially if David Montgomery is going to be sidelined for a little bit. I think they're going to move more towards the pass. I think they definitely trust Jared Goff enough. We didn't think that they would pass the ball as much as they did against Carolina, yet they did.
Yeah.
And we've just seen success against teams that have been good against the pass. This offense is one of my favorites to have a piece of this year.
Yeah.
Sam Laporta gave you a pretty decent outing for a tight end, 7.6 PPR points. The thing that I really love is even though he was dealing with that calf injury, still got 11 targets. So
Yeah.
I think I say Josh Reynolds is the wide receiver too, but the real second option in Detroit is Sam Laporta. He only got 4 of them for 36 yards. You're going to see better weeks, obviously, when your tight end gets 11 targets. That's like Mark Andrews and Travis Kelce type games.
Yeah.
So it's very clear this guy's not going away. It's not just a fluke weeks. Sam Laporta is here to stay. And if 7.6 is a down week, I'll take that in stride. But yeah, I mean, I think it is going. The most concerning thing is with the running backs. Obviously, if you have Jahmyr Gibbs, I guess starting him next week isn't.
You have to.
Yeah, it's
if
not
Montgomery
misses,
misses.
that you can. Yeah, if Montgomery misses, which it is looking like he will, definitely stay tuned on that, obviously. But just given the volume he got last time, that's the only thing we have to go. That's our small. It's a small sample size, but it's all we got. So you're starting him. You're at least hoping if he doesn't get the volume that he does get the targets, which, there's a chance of it. They're not just going to be able to run the ball down everybody's throats.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, I think it's fairly clear that Amon-Ra St. Brown, if you don't start him, I don't know why you're playing fantasy football. Sam Laporta, same thing. And then Josh Reynolds, Jameson Williams, fire him up.
Yeah.
It's a good offense.
No, I mean, I don't even really got anything to add to that. I'm surprised pleasantly of how quickly Sam Laporta has established himself as like a top 5 fantasy tight end. I mean, I'm pretty sure he was number 1 coming into this week. I don't know if he still is, but he is. He's him.
No, yeah, and it's rare that we see a rookie tight end ascend like this.
Yeah.
Truly. But yeah, that's all for this one, guys. We have one more afternoon. No, the Sunday night game is up next, right? So we have the Sunday night game, and then after that, we're going to get into our Monday night episode with the waivers as well. So stay tuned. Like we said, every time you have any questions, thoughts, comments, whatever you got for us, leave it in the comments below. We will get to that and help you out. And thank you for all the support, just like every time.
Yes, sir.